I still remember the exact moment I realized my family saw me as nothing more than a walking ATM with a pulse. It was the night my father looked across the dinner table, carved into that roast like he was claiming territory, and said, "Your new job means you foot every bill from now on. House, cars, groceries, Lila's rent, everything." My mother nodded without even glancing up. My sister Lila smirked like she'd just won the lottery. And me? I was 33, freshly promoted to senior forecast coordinator for the Pacific Northwest hub, pulling down $260,000 a year, and I felt my stomach drop like the floor had vanished beneath me. That was the night I stopped forecasting other people's storms and finally admitted the one destroying my life had been raging at home for decades. You know those quiet Midwestern towns where the horizon stretches so wide it feels like the sky could swallow you whole? That's where I grew up, Eldridge, population barely 4,000, where Friday nights meant high school football and everybody knew your business before you did. I was always the weird kid staring at clouds while everyone else chased girls or trucks. I could name every layer of the atmosphere before I could drive. My dad, Ray, worked the line at the John Deere plant. Mom, Carol, did billing for the local clinic. Money was tight, sure, but never desperate, until it became the only language they spoke to me in. I paid my own way through college. Every cent loans, 3 jobs, ramen noodles, and red-eye shifts cleaning lecture halls so I could study Doppler radar loops at 3 a.m. They never visited campus once. Not for move-in day, not for graduation. But the phone calls came like clockwork. Ray's transmission went out again. Lila needs new tires. Grandma's copay jumped, can you just Venmo it? I'd send the money. Always. Because saying no felt like standing in the path of an EF5 tornado with nothing but guilt for armor. Every raise I earned, every overtime shift I pulled tracking supercells across 3 states, they celebrated by inventing new emergencies. New flat screen when the old one stopped working right. Cruise deposit because we sacrificed so you could chase your little weather hobby. Lila's 3rd attempt at community college after flunking out twice. I kept saying yes. Because good sons take care of family, right? Because maybe if I gave enough, they'd finally see me as more than the family's personal storm shelter. But that Sunday dinner. God, that dinner. The house smelled like pot roast and passive aggression. Mom had set the nice plates, the ones we only used when company came, except tonight the company was me, the golden goose finally come home to roost. I made the mistake of mentioning the promotion before we even sat down. Senior coordinator, Seattle office. $260 base, full relocation, signing bonus. Dad's fork paused midair. Mom actually dropped her knife. Lila's eyes lit up like Christmas. Seattle. Lila whined. It rains there every day. Why would you? $260,000. Dad cut in, leaning back like a man who'd just been handed the keys to a new life. Well. That changes things. I should have seen it coming. I did see it coming. I just didn't believe they'd say it out loud. After Grace, because we still pretended to be that kind of family, Dad cleared his throat the way he did when he was about to lay down the law. Since you're doing so well now, he started, slicing into the meat like he was dividing up my future, your mother and I figure it's time you step up properly. You'll cover the household expenses from here on out. Mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurance, Lila's rent and loans, all of it. Mom nodded. It's only fair, Ethan. You're the one with the big salary now. Lila grinned. Finally. I've been stressing about my car note forever. I felt the blood drain from my face. The room tilted a little. I set my fork down so carefully the clink sounded like a gunshot in my ears. You want me to pay for everything? My voice came out smaller than I wanted. Dad shrugged. Your family. That's what family does. And just like that, my entire life, every all-nighter, every loan payment, every missed vacation because I was sending money home, was reduced to a line item on their budget. Something inside me snapped. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just quiet. Like the moment before a cold front collides and the sky goes dead still. I looked at each of them, really looked, and said, okay. Absolutely. I'll take care of it. Dad's eyebrows shot up, suspicious. You serious? Dead serious, I said, and I smiled. It probably looked wrong, like a wall cloud turning green. New rule, right? Consider it accepted. They relaxed. Actually relaxed. Started talking about upgrading the kitchen, maybe finally taking that Alaska cruise. Lila texted under the table, probably telling her friends her brother was bankrolling her life now. I nodded along, took mental notes while Mom listed bills like she was reading me my rights. Then I went home, opened my laptop, and became the storm I'd spent my whole career predicting. Monday morning, I signed the Seattle relocation package. Tuesday, I canceled every autopay that wasn't in my name alone. Wednesday, I removed both parents as authorized users on my cards. Thursday, I hired a moving company to pack my apartment while I was at work. Friday, I boarded a one-way flight with 2 suitcases and a P.O. box address they'd never find. I didn't tell them I was leaving. I didn't give them the new address. I just vanished into the rain. The first envelope arrived at my old place 3 days later, thick, official, stuffed with every bill they could print. It came back stamped, return to sender, address unknown. That night, my phone exploded. Mom, Ethan James, call me right now. Dad, what kind of game are you playing? Lila. My rent is due tomorrow. You said you'd handle it. I let it ring. Made tea. Watched rain streak down my new window overlooking Elliott Bay. The clouds were low and bruised, the kind that promised days of steady wash instead of violent outbursts. Cleansing. When I finally answered, Mom picked up screaming. Where are you? The bills came back. What did you do with your mail? I moved, I said quietly. Like I told you I was going to. You didn't tell us where. We have a system, Ethan. Yeah, I said. You did. I changed it. Dad got on the line, voice shaking with rage. You agreed. You sat right there and said absolutely. I did, I admitted. And then I thought about it. Really thought about it. And I realized you weren't asking for help. You were demanding ownership. Mom made that wounded animal sound she perfected over the years. After everything we sacrificed. You sacrificed. My voice cracked, finally. You kicked in maybe $2,000 total for my education and told me to figure it out. I paid for every textbook, every meal plan, every emergency you claimed while I was drowning in debt. I've been subsidizing your life since I was 19. And the second I get promoted, you don't even congratulate me, you audit me. Silence. Thick, Midwestern silence. Then Dad, low and dangerous, you walk away now, you're no son of mine. I laughed. Couldn't help it. It came out raw and ragged. I've never been your son, I said. I've been your retirement plan. Your emergency fund. Your bragging rights at the plant. But never just, your kid. Mom started crying, those big, theatrical sobs that used to twist me up inside. Tonight they just sounded like noise. You'll regret this, she whispered. When we lose the house. When your father's health. Get a smaller house, I said. Sell the boat you barely use. Let Lila get a second job like I did at her age. Figure it out. The way you always told me to. You're dead to us, Dad snarled. I closed my eyes. Rain hammered the window like it was trying to get in, wash everything clean. I've been dying slowly for years, I said. This is the first time I've felt alive. I hung up. They kept calling for weeks. Long guilt trips. Old childhood photos. Threats. Silence. More threats. I didn't block them. I just stopped answering. Some nights I sit here in my little Seattle apartment, radar looping on one screen, Puget Sound gray and endless out the window, and I wait for the guilt to hit. It hasn't. Not once. Instead, there's this vast, quiet space where the storm used to live. Room to breathe. Room to build something that's mine alone. I still forecast other people's weather for a living. I track hurricanes, blizzards, derechos, warn entire states when destruction's coming. But the biggest storm of my life, I didn't outrun it. I walked straight into clear skies on the other side. If you've ever carried a family that never carried you, if you've ever said yes until your soul felt bankrupt, tell me in the comments. Would you have stayed and paid? Or would you have disappeared into the rain, too? Thanks for watching. Do subscribe for more stories.